Hello, and you're watching the History Fellow channel. In this video I'm doing another book review, and that book review is of The Railways of Northern England in the 1960s. Written by Michael Clemens, published by Fonthill Media, and comes in hardback and paperback, and contains approximately 128 pages. And I'd like to thank Daniela Lipscomb for allowing me to read and review this book. The Railways of Northern England in the 1960s. The 60s represents a seismic fault line in the history of British transport. It was a decade that began with steam still gasping in the sidings and ended with the ruthless efficiency of the diesel-electric era, all occurring under the shadow of Dr. Richard Beeching's infamous axe. In The Railways of Northern England in the 1960s, author and archivist Michael Clemens invites us to step back into the turbulent, smoke-filled transitional period, drawing from the formidable Michael Clemens collection, a treasure trove of family railway cinematography and photography. This is initiated by his father. This volume serves as both a visual eulogy to a lost industrial landscape and a celebration of the enduring romance of the rail. Unlike drier official histories that rely on posed publicity shots or technical diagrams, Clemens' work feels intimate. These are photographs taken by enthusiasts for enthusiasts, often capturing the lived-in feel of the railways, the grime on the fireman's face, the peel of the paint on a station sign, and the soot-blackened architecture of the northern industrial towns. The book is ostensibly a photographic album, but to treat it merely as a picture book would be a disservice to the historical narrative that it weaves. The book's geographical scope is ambitious, covering the spine of England from the railway hubs of Crewe and Doncaster up to the Scottish border. This region, perhaps more than any other, was the engine room of Britain. In the 60s, it was a landscape dominated by coal, steel and shipping, industries that relied heavily on the rail network. Clemens structures the book in a journey, a nostalgic tour that moves logically through the landscape. We're taken through bustling metropolis, where the railway infrastructure was complex and monolithic, to the stark, windswept beauty of the Cumbrian Fells. The inclusion of the locations like Barnard Castle, Birkenhead, Carlisle, and the vast marshalling yards of Doncaster provides a comprehensive cross-section of Northern Railway operations. One of the book's strengths is its refusal to focus solely on the glamour of the express passenger trains. While the mighty Deltix diesels and the final prestigious steam haulers make their appearance, Clemens gives equal weight to the humbler aspects of the network. We see the industrial pug engines shunting in the colliery yards, the branch line tanks pottering through rural stations that would soon be erased from the map, and the four-wheeled oddities that kept the permanent way in check. No book on British railways in the 60s can escape the spectre of the reshaping of the British railways. Clemens addresses this context poignantly through the lens of what was lost. The Northern England depicted here is a network at its maximum density just before the cuts began to bite deep. For the modern reader, there is a profound melancholy in seeing these bustling stations that are now supermarkets or car parks. The book captures as distinct architecture and the pre-nationalisation companies, the ornate ironwork of the Northern Eastern Railway, the sturdy brick of the London and North Western Railway, styles that give each line a unique local character. Clemens' commentary often points out these details, serving as a guide to the industrial archaeology of the region. He notes the specific signalling arrangements, the layout of goods yards, and the operational quirks that vanished along with his steam engines. The visual quality of the book is a testament to the photographer's skill and the restoration work performed on the archive. The images are a mixture of black and white and colour, and the black and white photographs possess a gritty texture that perfectly suits the industrial north. They render the steam and smog with a dramatic intensity that colour sometimes lacks. However, the colour plates are where the book truly shines, acting as a shock to the system for those used to seeing the 1960s in black and white. Seeing the livery of the British Railway standard class locomotive or the early green of the diesel unit in full colour brings the area to life with startling intimacy. The colour reveals the rust, the moss on the platform edges, and the vibrant, if often soot-stained, reality of the day. Clemens does an excellent job of balancing the green and the grim aspects of the northern network. The images of the Lake District and the settled Carlisle line remind us that the railway line was often the only way to traverse formidable geography of the Pennines. Here the trains are dwarfed by the landscape, crossing vast viaducts that stand as monuments to Victorian engineering. Conversely, the shots taken in the industrial heartlands around Wigan, Manchester and Leeds show the railway as part of the urban fabric. Lines thread between terraced houses and factories, so close that passengers could almost shake hands with the residents. These images are invaluable social history documents, recording not just the trains but the backdrop of northern life, the cars, the fashion and the smoke bleaching chimneys that define the region's economy. If there is a critique to be made about this book, it is one common to the genre. The caption-heavy format can sometimes lead the reader wanting a more cohesive narrative text. Clemens's captions are detailed and informative, often providing locomotive numbers, dates and specific operational details that spotters will devour. However, a general reader might find these or find themselves wishing for longer chapter introductions that set the broader social and economic scene of the specific regions. In conclusion, the railways of northern England in the 1960s is a vital addition to the library of any rail enthusiast, but is also a broader appeal. It is a visual record of northern England that has largely vanished, a world of heavy industry, local connectivity and mechanical diversity. Ultimately, this book is a tribute to the photographers who stood on windswept platforms and muddy embankments 60 years ago, ensuring that the steam cleared and the lines were lifted and the memory of the Iron Road would remain vivid and preserved. I thoroughly enjoyed this book and I would give it 5 stars out of 5. I would recommend it for railway modellers, industrial historians and anyone with a nostalgia for the northern England of the mid-20th century. Thank you very much for watching and listening to this video. Again, this is The Railways of Northern England in the 1960s, written by Michael Clemens, published by Fonthill Media, and it comes in hardback and paperback and contains approximately 128 pages. And I'd like to thank Daniela Lipscomb once again for allowing me to read and review this book. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the review or you've read the book or interested in railways, please feel free to leave a comment down below this video, and I shall see you next time for more videos and reviews. Thank you very much.